Hey folks, this is a video overview of Cacao, which is a new game from Phil Walker Harding and ABACUSSPIELE, and we're just going to open it up and take a look at what's inside. Inside the box you'll find instructions in English and German, a nice insert to hold all the pieces. The cacao fruits are the wooden pieces, the sun tokens, the coins, the water carrier meeples, and the various tiles, as well as a spot for all of the player boards in various colors: white, purple, yellow, and red. Taking all of the components out of the box, we can see we've got the cacao fruits, we've got money in 3 different denominations, 1, 5, and 10, the sun tokens, which according to Spielbox look like manhole covers, a stack of worker tiles in each player color, and each stack is identical, and then a stack of the jungle tiles, of which there are, I believe, 6 different types. Okay, now let's look at the player boards. The player boards are set up with basically 3 main parts to them. There's the water track, so the water carrier moves along the water track starting at this space here. We can see that each space on the track has a coin value next to it, which is the amount of coins or points you will get at the end of the game based on the position of your water carrier. So we can see that at the beginning of the game you start with basically a negative balance, negative 10 coins. Over the course of the game, if you place your worker tiles next to sources of water, you can move your water carrier, spaces along the track equal to the number of workers that you've placed next to sources of water. So you can end the game with a 26-point spread here, moving up to getting 16 points. The other spots worth noting on here are storage for sun tokens. So you can see these are spots here where we store sun tokens, and you can store up to 3 at any point in the game, and at once you've got 3 you can't hold any more, and then those actions go to waste. Same thing for cacao fruits. You can hold 5 cacao fruits in these spots here. Each player has a stack of worker tiles in their player color. Here we're looking at purple player's stack. We can see there's 4 different types of tiles here. They all have a hut around the center, which is just purely for helping you see the player color. But really what's important here are the meeples around the edges. And so we can see that we have 4 tiles where there's 1 meeple around the edge, 5 tiles where we've got 2 meeples on one edge and there's no meeple on one of the edges, as well as 2 tiles where there's 3 meeples on one edge and 2 edges with no meeples at all. So the meeples are how we activate the actions in the game on the jungle tiles, and it's the main mechanism of the game for players to place them with the correct orientation and position around the board. It's worth noting that in 3 and 4 player games we remove 1 or 2 tiles from this set for each player. So in a 3-player game we remove 1 of these, and in a 4-player game additionally we remove 1 of these. So it shortens the amount of turns that you'll have when there's more players, but not significantly. So these are the different types of worker tiles you'll find in the stack there. The first one to the left are the mines, and those come in values 1 and 2, and they basically just give you gold. The second ones are the plantations, and there's a single plantation which gives you 1 cacao fruit, and the doubles which give you 2. The markets, which come in values 2, 3, and 4, which allow you to sell your cacao fruits for values 2, 3, and 4 each. Then we have the temples, which are sort of a area majority thing scored at the end of the game, where first place gets 6 gold and second place gets 3rd. If there's a tie, you divide the 6 points if it's a tie for first. If it's a tie for second, you divide the 3 points. Next we have the sources of water, and these are used to move your water carrier further along on your player board. And last are the sun worshipping sites. These allow you to take a sun token, which you can use for either points at the end of the game, or you can use them to overbuild one of your tiles. So speaking about building tiles, let's get into the rules of the game. So this is the starting configuration of the game, and each player is going to have a hand of 3 worker tiles from their stack at all times to choose from. And what they have to do is they have to decide where they want to place these tiles on the board. So let's just say, for example, the red player is the starting player, and they basically have to place them to start to create a checkerboard pattern. What I mean by that is, if the checkerboard had white and black colors creating a checker pattern, our white color might be the worker tiles, and then the black part of the checker would be these jungle tiles. So that basically means that the worker tiles always have to be in a spot that would create a checker pattern. And so basically you can place it in any of these spots here where their edge matches the edge of one of these jungle tiles. And then what we can see is that with certain orientations we will activate certain tiles in an order. So in this case, what this would be saying is that 2 workers go to the single plantation and pick up a cacao fruit. So 2 workers times 1 cacao fruit at this plantation, you get 2 cacao fruits. So as a result, you would basically go pick these up and you would put them on your board like this. And then we can also see that 1 worker is going to the market. So this allows us to sell one of those cacao fruits for 2 gold. So we'd come back here, we would sell one of these, and then we would pick up 2 gold. Let's go to the next player's turn to show what is actually happening in the sequence of play for every player's turn. So basically the sequence of play always has a player placing one of their worker tiles, and then what they need to do is actually check to see if the jungle expands. And that's the second phase of their turn, followed by resolving actions. And so we can't actually show that off in the first player's turn, so let's just assume that purple player is second up. They're looking at their hand of 3 options here, and let's say they decide to take this one, and they're going to place it right here. So before they can go and get their single cacao fruit, what they need to do is they see that there are 2 worker tiles leaving an open space right here for a jungle tile to appear. So the purple player gets to choose from basically 2 options of jungle tiles that are always visible. So we take the 2 top jungle tiles from the jungle tile stack and we make them face up, and the purple player gets to decide which of these jungle tiles fills this spot right here before they resolve their action. So they might decide, we're going to do another plantation here. And so they fill in that spot on the board, and then now it's time to resolve actions. So in this case, the purple player's tile was new, and so they need to activate this worker adjacent to this, and this worker adjacent to this. So they're actually going to pick up 2 cacao fruits and put them on their board right here. But we can also see that this new tile that was added triggered the red player's worker right here. So the red player also gets a cacao fruit, and they put that on their board. And then the play proceeds to the next player. So after the purple player's turn, what we're going to do is we're going to refill the jungle tile display up to 2 again. So now we can see a market value 2 appears next to a temple. So those are our 2 options. The purple player who just finished his turn replenishes his hand to 3 of his worker tiles to choose from, but it's white player's turn now. So they get to choose from their hand of 3 options where they're going to place their worker tile. So let's say that in this example they're going to take this middle one and place it here. And so they're going to do basically the same thing that red player did to start the game. They're going to, we're going to see now there aren't 2 worker tiles adjacent to each other, so we don't need to place a new jungle tile in this turn, so we can just resolve actions. So 1 worker next to a plantation gets them 1 cacao fruit, and also 1 worker next to a market. They can immediately sell that cacao fruit and get 2 coins. So it's back to the red player's turn, and as we can see with this board configuration, when they place next to one of the 3 jungle tiles, they're definitely going to trigger the condition of 2 worker tiles leaving an open space. So they will be placing one of these 2 new jungle tiles on their turn. So let's see what they decide to do. The red player decides that they are going to, if they're currently holding 2 cacao fruits, they're just going to stock up a little bit more, wait for a better market to appear. So they place right here, And now what they need to do is choose one of these two. So they're going to choose this temple tile, currently the only player that has influence around this temple tile. And then now they get to resolve the actions of these two things. Temple tiles only resolve at the end of the game, so there isn't actually an action that occurs during the game, and so they just pick up one cacao fruit and put it on their board. So it's purple player's turn now. The first thing they need to do is refill the display of jungle tiles. We can see that a source of water appears, and now on this turn what they're going to do is they're going to place this tile, and I think they're going to place it like this. And so now what we're going to see here is actually there's two spaces where a new jungle tile needs to appear. So the purple player gets to actually place both of these tiles, and they can decide which one goes where. So I think the purple player is going to want to get into the water carrier game. So they're going to place that here, and then they're going to place this here, and then now it's time to resolve the actions. So we can see the purple player has one purple meeple here and two purple meeples here, so they get to move their water carrier 3 spaces on their track. So if we look down here, they basically get to go 1, 2, 3. So now at the end of the game, instead of -10 coins, they get to basically have a net 0. And we also have to resolve the fact that the red player gets to go to market and sell one of their cacao fruits for 2 coins if they choose to. So we can see the red player is holding 3 cacao fruits, and they decide, you know what, they don't want to risk running out of space, so they put those back, and they're going to pick up 2 of these coins. Okay, it's the white player's turn again, and the first thing they have to do is refill the display of all of the available jungle tiles. So they need to put 2 out, and we can see here that we've got a double plantation right here and a gold mine that gives a value 1 right here. So the white player currently is holding 0 cacao fruits, so I think they really want to get into the cacao fruit game. And so I think what they're going to do is they're going to take this right here, and they're going to place it like this, and that is going to make them decide to place this double plantation there. And they've still got to place something in this spot, just like the previous player's turn, and they're going to place the gold mine there. So now we actually follow through with the actions. The purple player is going to get 1 coin from the bank, so we give them this right here, and that goes into their supply. And the white player is going to get 3 worker actions times 2 cacao fruits, so that's somewhat overkill. And additionally, they're going to get another cacao fruit. So basically, they're getting 6, 7 cacao fruits. Well, they can only hold 5, so this might have been a little bit too strong of an action, but they're certainly set up to sell for a lot of points. So it's red player's turn again. They have to refill the display. So we see a market, value 3, and a sun worshipping site appears. So looking at their hand, they might decide that they want to get into the water game because they don't want to get penalized points there. So I think what the red player is going to do is choose this option right here. And we can see that we've got to fill this spot here. Let's just say they do the sun worshipping site because we haven't seen that yet. Okay, so the red player is going to move 2 spaces on their water track. So we look down here and they go 1, 2, and they're now getting -1, so that's gained them 9 points basically. And then we can see that the red player as well as the purple player are each going to get a sun token from the bank. So it's the purple player's turn now, and of course, as normal, they need to refill the display up to 2. We've got another plantation as well as this market value 3. The purple player is currently holding 2 cacao fruits, and so they might decide to try to trigger a sale at the value 3. So what the purple player is going to do is decide to do this, and then they get to place this in the open spot here. All right, and then we get to resolve these actions. So firstly, the white player gets to sell a cacao fruit at value 3 if they want to. It's worth noting that these actions can happen simultaneously. You don't have to follow them in turn order. So purple doesn't have to go before white. These are non-contentious actions. So white player would decide, because they've got a full stack, that they're going to get rid of one of these and sell it and get 3 coins. So let's just say that they exchange like that. And the purple player is going to be able to do 2 sell actions. But before that, we can see that they've got 1 worker next to the double plantation. So basically, they're going to pick up 2 cacao fruits from that single worker from here. And then with the double workers here, they're going to get to sell those 2 cacao fruits for 3 each. So those 2 don't even need to go on their board. They just go here. They're going to pick up a 1 and, let's see, a 5 for 6 points on that move. Okay, it's the white player's turn now. They need to refill the display. And now our 2 options are basically the same thing, a single plantation. Well, the white player is still holding 4 cacao fruits on their board. They've yet to move their water carrier, so that's a little scary, but I think they want to get some money for those cacao fruits. So looking at these 2 markets here, I think what they're going to do is probably sell everything they've got. So they're going to move this guy in here. Sorry for my clumsy placement. And here's what's basically going to happen. So we're going to see they get to sell 3 cacao fruits at the market for worth 3 each, and 1 at the market worth 2. So they're basically going to pick up 11 gold by selling 4 cacao fruits. 3 times 3 and 1 times 2, so they pick up a 10 and a 1, and that was their turn. Okay, it's the red player's turn, and I think they want to assert their dominance over this temple here. So I think what we'll do is we'll see them place their meeple possibly like this. So they've now got 2 influence here and here at the temple. They're going to get to do 2 market actions, but first we have to put something here. So we are going to place one of these 2 plantations, and then now we can follow through with the actions. So the red player is going to get 1 cacao fruit from the supply and put that on their board. So they've now got 3, and they're going to get to do 2 market actions. So they'll immediately sell 2 of those at 2 each. So let's just give them a 5 and give back one of these 1s. And we don't have to follow through with the temple influence because that's resolved at the end of the game. Okay, it's the purple player's turn now, and we've refilled the display. We can see another source of water appears, and I think the purple player really wants to move far ahead on their water carrier track. So what they're going to do here is place this tile. They wish they had one of their 3 meeple tiles, but they're going to place here. And then they've got to fill this spot, so they're going to take this tile and place it like that. So now it's time to resolve. The red player does get to move 1 space on their track, so they move to the 0. And the purple player gets to move 2 plus 1, so 3 spaces. So they move like this, 1, 2, 3. They're now getting 7 at the end of the game for that. And then lastly, the purple player also gets 1 coin next to that gold mine. So they pick up one of these and put it in their supply. Okay, so it's white player's turn. They're going to refill the display. We see a market value 3 appears, and they are currently holding no cacao fruits. And last turn they got to make a lot of money based on selling them, so I think they're going to go after that again. So they're going to place right up here like this, and actually let's say they place like this. And then they're going to get to do that and this. Okay, so what's going to happen here is they get to pick up 5 cacao fruits, so they completely refill their stock. So here's 5. And they're also going to get to sell 2 of them. So this new tile, 1, 2 workers, so they get to sell 2 of them at 3 each. So instead of receiving 5, they're basically just going to receive 3. And at 3 each, they're going to get 6 coins back from the bank. That was their turn. Okay, it's the red player's turn again, and we see that 2 gold mines appeared, one value 2, one value 1, and I think what the red player wants to do is keep moving forward on the water carrier track, not fall too far behind the purple player, so they're going to take this value 3 and place it here like this, and then they've got a place here, so they're going to take this value 2, and so they're going to immediately receive 2 gold. So let's grab 1 and 2, and then they get to move their water carrier 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3. So that was a turn that got them from 0 to 7 plus 2 more, so that was a 9-point turn. Not too bad. Okay, it's purple player's turn, and they want to probably finish off their movement on the water track, and so they've got 2 more spaces left. So they're going to take this tile here and place it like so, but before they can move on that track, they've got to fill these 2 spaces. So it doesn't make a huge ton of difference where these go because it's equal on both sides, so let's just put the gold mine up here and the plantation here. And so now it's time to resolve, so they're going to receive 1 gold for the gold mine. They are going to receive 1 cacao fruit for the plantation, and they're going to move 2 spaces on the water track. Red player doesn't move at all because they don't have any meeples on those edges, and so moving those 2 spaces brings them up from the 7-point space to the 16-point space. So altogether a pretty good turn. Okay, so the white player is a little worried now because they look at the board and they see the 2 sources of water are completely surrounded by red and purple player, and their water carrier is on the -10 space. So they're hoping that another water tile comes out, and thankfully for them, there is a 3rd water tile in the stack. Let's hope that it comes out now. Oh, and it does. What luck. Okay, so the white player is going to try to trigger that water tile to come out. So let's just say that they place their tile, let's say right here. Okay, and then they need to fill in this spot like so. And they're also giving the purple player a chance to sell, which maybe wasn't the best move, but let's resolve now. So the white player gets to move 2 spaces on the water track, so they're moving from -10 to -1, so 9 points. And they get to sell 1 cacao fruit for value 3, and so does the purple player. The red player decides they want to finish their water track as well, so they're going to place their tile here, so they're going to get 1 cacao fruit, and they're going to move 2 spaces on the water track, so they get to move to 16. The purple player is going to move into this space here, picking up a cacao fruit and selling 2 cacao fruits at value 3, so 6 coins. Okay, so the white player sees that the 2 tiles in the display are the market value 4, of which there's only 1 in the game, and a double plantation. So they're hoping for a big move this turn. So what they're going to do is they're going to place this tile. They were hoping they would have a 2-1-1, but they've got a 1-1-1-1, so they're going to place it there. And then they're going to place the value 4 market right here, and a double plantation right here. Okay, so it's time to resolve. So white and purple each get 2 cacao fruits. So purple's going to take theirs really fast, and then we'll just get the other 2 from white. So white now has 4 cacao fruits, and that we can see also with this market that has appeared and the tile that's just been placed, they get to do 1 sale at a value of 3 and 2 sales at a value of 4. So that's 11 points for 3 cacao fruits. So red player is going to place their tile here, and from the display place a temple here, hoping to cement their place as the temple dominator. So they get to sell 1 cacao fruit at value 4. It's the purple player's turn, and they want to get in on the value 4 market before the last space gets covered up. So they put their 3-1 down here. They've got to place 2 new jungle tiles. So they're going to place the temple here, where they'll actually not be winning at the moment, but at least they'll be getting 2nd place points. And they will place the single plantation here, which they won't get anything from, but they're willing to deal with not getting one cacao fruit. So white gets one cacao fruit. The purple player is going to sell 3 of their cacao fruits, which is all they have in their inventory, for a total of 12, and that's the turn. So the white player is just going to pick up 3 cacao fruits, reaching their maximum of 5 storage. The red player wants to remain dominant on temples, so they've just gained another foothold there. The purple player is going to pick up a cacao fruit, and then they are going to get some control over this temple and sell to a market for value 3, and so is the white player. The white player wants to sell a couple of their cacao fruits, and they also want to get into the sun token game. So they're going to get 2 sun tokens for the 2 workers adjacent to that tile, and they're going to be able to sell 2 cacao fruits for a total of 6. So the red player wants to remain dominant in temples, so they're going to place there, and they need to fill this spot. This is the last jungle tile of the stack, so it must be placed here. Now, basically we've entered the overbuilding phase of the game, where players may decide to use their sun tokens to place their remaining worker tiles on top of their own existing worker tiles to activate a really powerful turn. So it's purple player's turn, and as an example of overbuilding, they are going to give up their 1 sun token to place over their purple piece here, and now they get to activate all 4 of these. So they're going to get 1, 2, 3 cacao tokens and be able to sell 2 of them at 3 each, so 6 gold and 1 cacao fruit left. So the white player is going to do the same thing. They're going to give up a sun token, and they are going to build over their piece here. So they're going to receive 1 cacao fruit and be able to make 3 sales, 2 of which at 4 and 1 of which at 3. So each player now has 1 tile left to place, so there's 1 more turn for each player remaining. Red is up next, and they are going to use their 1 remaining sun token and just sort of reinforce their strategy of winning the temples. So you can see here that this temple, they are currently tied with the purple player on, so they're going to overbuild here, which may not be the most efficient move overall, but they do want to win the temple game. It's purple's last turn, and they have no more sun tokens, so they cannot overbuild, but they do know that sun tokens are worth 1 point at the end of the game for each one. So they're going to receive 3 sun tokens, maxing out their inventory, and also able to sell their last remaining cacao fruit for 2. The white player uses their last remaining sun token to overbuild this space here, so they're going to pick up 2 cacao fruits and be able to sell 3 times to this market, but they only have 2 fruits, so they're going to get 6 coins. It's now time for end of game scoring to see who won, but before that we can take a look at the board that we've created. So we've laid tiles out, and we've sort of revealed a jungle of a specific shape, and here's where you can really kind of see the checkerboard pattern that the game creates. The worker tiles sort of have this tan color to them where the jungle tiles are green. It sort of helps you see the checkerboard pattern at the end. It all kind of makes sense. But now let's jump into scoring and see who won. In endgame scoring, before we go into the 3 elements that we need to score, I've consolidated the gold each player's earned. So the red player currently has 12 gold, pretty meager amount. The purple player has 41, and the white player has 62. But the endgame scoring first resolves all of the temples, followed by getting 1 point for each sun token remaining, and finally we get points for the space on the water carrier track. So let's see what happened. So now it's time to score the temples. There's 5 of them out on the board, and so the very first one we can see is owned by the red player with 2 workers unopposed, so they get 6 gold for that. The next one is also unopposed, 3 workers next to that. Let's look at this one here, 1 worker unopposed, so they're going to get another 6 gold. And here we can see that they've got 3 workers to purple's 1 worker, so they're going to get 6 gold, and purple is going to get 3 gold. And then lastly here, it is 3 red workers to 1 purple worker, so 6 for red and 3 for purple again. So red won all of the 5 temples on the board for 30 points, and purple picked up an extra 6 points for coming in second on 2 of them. No points to white. Next we take a look at the sun tokens. We see red has none, purple has 3, so they will get 3 gold for those, and white also has none, so they will get none. The last scoring element is the water carrier track, so here we can see red player gets an additional 16 gold. The purple player also gets 16 gold, and in this case the white player is going to lose a gold. Before revealing the final scores, it's worth noting that this one cacao fruit that red has here is not worth anything at the end of the game. But now that we've done the final scoring, we can take a look at the amount of coins each player has. And we see the white player has 61 coins as their final score. The purple player has 65, and the red player has 58. So purple player wins. In this case, they took kind of a balanced strategy, and that worked out for them. The white player took a strategy of trying to make big sales at the markets, and the red player kind of went really hard on temples and nothing else. And that's the game. Thanks for watching.